God, I really want to know what the time is. Jack, can you tell us? Jack? Oh, for God's sake, where's Jack gone? Tom, do you know what time it is?
Dale, I can certainly help you out with that quandary. Because, ladies and gentlemen, it's podcast time. Hello and welcome to another fine episode of At the BlahDBlah with me, Tom Feeney.
Me, Dale Harris.
Well, Jack Elliott, well, he isn't here. He's on a train to Darlington, and I don't know what we'll be doing over the weekend.
I'm sure Chris Tate knows.
Chris Tate might have an idea. Well, we are here. There is only two of us. It's an intimate setting today, wouldn't you agree, Dale?
Wouldn't go that far, Thomas. Wouldn't go that far.
Dale wouldn't go that far. Well, off microphone, Dale has been saying how much he enjoys it only being us two.
Well,
go on.
I thought you'd be about to announce news of the week. I'm ready to get my teeth stuck into it.
Well, I will say that we have got some top-notch stories because, ladies and gentlemen, we will be giving you all the regulars. We'll be giving you joke of the week, accent of the week, and as of right now, news of the week. Dale Harris, you've got some quite sad news.
Yes, it's about former England Rugby Union captain Lewis Moody.
Great player.
Announced his retirement. It is sad news. He spent a couple of years at Bath. Only made a handful of appearances, but he's had a very successful career. World Cup winner and European League winner with Leicester Tigers, his former club.
Well, I think the first thing that I will say is, he has stated that he'd be interested in joining the Bath rugby coaching staff, which I think is a nice move there. But I think the main thing that I look at with Lewis Moody is he was a professional both on and off the pitch. Now,
yeah, and you just have to see what your former teammates, former coaches, been saying about him. Saying that there was only one way. He just, just the one way he knew was just forward, just going forward. He didn't take a step back. Didn't matter how old he was or how successful he'd become. He wasn't afraid to put his body on the line, and he'd be the first to step up for these, taking the big hits and that. He viewed himself as one of the lads, and it just shows what a great person to have around a club or dressing room that he was.
Well, I certainly agree with that, and I wish Lewis Moody all the best in his coaching exploits. You never know, the England manager's job may one day be something which graces his presence for rugby union, of course. I don't think Fabio Capello's
kind of done much worse in recent years.
Well, so we've had a look at that, and now we're going to look at some really sad news because in the last 10 minutes it's breaking news. It's just been revealed the identity of the 6 British soldiers who were killed yesterday in the deadliest single enemy attack on the UK forces in Afghanistan since 2001, and 4 of the 6 soldiers were revealed to be just 20 years old, and the MOD have revealed that today. I'll tell you them, and there were 5 from the 3rd Battalion Yorkshire Regiment, and there was 1 from the 1st Battalion Lancaster Regiment, and the Lancaster Regiment Sergeant was Nigel Coop, of the 1st Battalion of the Duke of Lancaster Regiment, and then the 5 others were Corporal Jake Hartley, who was only 20 years old, Private Anthony Frampton, who was only 20 years old again, Private Christopher Kershaw, who was again only 20 years old, Private Daniel Wade, who was again 20 years old, and Private Daniel Wilford, who was 21 years old. And go on, Dale.
Well, it makes you think, I'm 20 myself, and to think that people your age are in those kind of conditions and end up losing their lives, it's really eye-opening thoughts, and it makes it more personal seeing the faces of the fallen soldiers. I just hope their family are given time to grieve,
I think it's awful news, I really do, and you hear people. Yesterday, I spoke to somebody, a professor, who talked about the consequence of war. And again, we said this in the last podcast, but it really, I'm sorry about that. when you see pictures, when you get a face to who's died, and when you think that these men were, for me, my case, a year older than me. For your case, your age. 4 of the 6 were 20. 1 was 21. Now 1 was 33. But there are, you know, there are
a young family.
Yeah, there are wives who have lost husbands. There are, you know, children who have lost their dad.
Their parents have lost their sons.
Yeah, it's awful news. It really is. Well, we're going to try and lighten the mood now with the final story. And the final story for me, I'm going to go on a rant, aren't I? I'm going to have to. Kate Middleton has revealed she terribly misses Prince William. And my rant is not about Kate Middleton missing her husband. My rant is not about Prince William going out to the Falklands and, you know, working. My big rant is, why is this front page material? I really don't get it. Especially after the 6 soldiers dying yesterday, I do not get how this is the highlight of most of the newspapers' websites.
Like you said earlier, and it's not just those 6 men. There's loads of soldiers whose wives, you know, they're going to miss their husbands. Not because they're away, but in some cases, they're never going to get to see him again. And there's, like I say, you can have small children who won't get to see their dad again. If it was a wife of a soldier who had died, if that was, I can understand that being front page, because that's very sad. They're never going to see him again. But she is going to, all being well, she is going to see her husband again.
Yeah.
And, you know, it shouldn't be on the front page.
No, and that's, you know, again, I think yet again it's a newspaper editor maybe getting a bit slack with their work, instead of looking at, you know, the story that everyone's talking about are the 6 soldiers that have died. Fine, you know, Prince William is in the Falklands, but I think, to be honest, that's a poor editorial decision to move such an emotional story and move that off the spotlight. Maybe for the families it might be a good thing. I don't know. Maybe you never know. They may have asked, "Can you please, you know, give us a bit more time to grieve?"
Well, should we go on to the main topic of this podcast?
Well, the main topic of this podcast, we both me and Dale have been looking at a certain issue. Dale wrote a fantastic blog about it.
Thank you very much.
And yeah, well, he paid me to say that. He owes me a drink now, but
I thought he was.
He owes me a drink now. But anyway, that's still the point. I've looked at this issue myself, and it is about gay footballers. And the big question is, should a footballer come out as gay? Yes or no? As
I wrote in my blog, they should, but they need more help from the likes of the FA. I mean, they're not going to get it from FIFA after what Sepp Blatter said, which you can see in my blog how I quoted Sepp Blatter. You know, with that was all surrounding Qatar getting the World Cup in 2022, and there wasn't much support basically for gay footballers. And publicist Max Clifford said he's advised gay footballers not to come out, they ruin their careers. And in my opinion, why? Well, if they're a good footballer, if Lionel Messi was gay, what would Barcelona sell him? Of course they wouldn't. He's the world's best player. Okay. It doesn't matter if they're gay.
Well, I will just say about Max Clifford. He revealed that during the last few years, a number of football clubs, but 2 major football clubs, so that, you know, you've got to assume they're probably Premier League in England, have approached him saying that they wish to portray a straight image, which I can't believe a football club would ask that. Just, you know, so you know, by these football teams' images, then no gay person enjoys football. Then then
you've got
it's disgusting.
The tragic case of Justin Fashanu, who's the top footballer in the country, and he bravely came out as gay in times, you know, when it was meant to be more difficult than it is today. He came out as gay, and he was made an outcast. Basically, it's such a sad story. He took his own life, and that should have been a warning. Why isn't there no support? More support from the likes of the FA. They support against anti-racism, which I'm fully behind. But what about support for gay footballers? in my opinion, that's just they need help just as much.
Well, of course, this is when you've got to look at people like Gareth Thomas, who last year came out as gay, and the amount of stick and aggro he has, had from this issue. In my opinion, a friend of mine who's a massive rugby fan, rugby league fan. He said he went to a game and he heard people chanting, homophobic, and you just think to yourself, at the end of the day, Gareth Thomas, is
fantastic.